Hello again, Hokies. It's game day preview time. Jon Laaser alongside Tech Hall of Famer Mike Burnup as the Hokies get back into ACC play and head back on the road. And Mike, let's start here. They're heading to a familiar destination. Same team hotel, same itinerary with a night game against the Tar Heels as the itinerary they had a week or so ago with success against Duke.
Yeah, it's kind of odd how this season has been. I mean, you think about it, how many other teams, I wonder, have played their first 3 ACC games on the road. It's kind of weird the way this whole season has gone, from hurricane cancellations and whatnot, but I know they're going to be glad and anxious to get back on the field, especially after they had so many chances against a team like Notre Dame. The atmosphere in Lane Stadium was electric. But yeah, they're ready to get going, and now it's ACC the rest of the way, and this is where it's all going to count and boil down to.
I think if you gave truth serum to UNC head coach Larry Fedora, he might use the descriptor you just did, Mike, weird, because North Carolina at times has been without as many as 13 players due to suspension. They've got them all back, including quarterback Chaz Surratt, with one big exception, and that's defensive end Malik Carney, arguably the Tar Heels' top defensive player.
Yeah, that's it. And you look at that defensive, the front 6 guys there, they're really good. The front 4, and talk about the linebackers, they're really good, but missing him is a challenge. Surratt came back for the first time against Miami, did not play very well. You know, they've had a week off to prepare for this game, and I'm sure Coach Fedora has had those guys kind of back in, because I know as a player, if I came off a loss like that, that week wasn't going to be a lot of fun moving up to the next game. And so I'm sure he's got those guys ready to go, especially when you couple that with the fact that the last 2 years, the Hokies have kind of had their numbers, and they've only scored 10 points in those last 2 games.
93-10 has been the cumulative score since Justin Fuente has been here over the Tar Heels. This will be the second trip to Kenan Stadium. Of course, last time was the heavy rain game in that exterior region of Hurricane Matthew. There is a hurricane that the Hokies and the Tar Heels have an eye on. Hopefully that will not affect proceedings on Saturday. For the Hokies, execution is the mantra of the week this week. Mike did a lot of good things in what turned into a one-sided loss to Notre Dame, but weren't closer in that game because, like Coach Fuente has said, need to execute more consistently.
Well, that's the thing, and on a regular basis. I mean, they had chances. I mean, you think about that game going into halftime, it's a 1-point game. You get them backed up down to the 5-yard line. You get a loss, tackle for loss in the first play, and they break a 97-yard run. Then they get a 40-yard pass later on a broken coverage, technique-wise and whatnot. So it's the little things that cost you when you play really, really good teams. And they got to correct those mistakes and get ready to go, again, because it's all ACC the rest of the way. This is the first night game in Kenan in like 3 years for them. So you know they're going to have a similar atmosphere that the Hokies had. So you got to be ready to play. Even though they've only got 1 win, you know they're going to be a handful. And Hokies got to be on their A game, meaning they got to cut out the mistakes, the little things that cost them games, like they did against Notre Dame.
Night game, first time in a while in Chapel Hill, not for the Hokies. This will be the 3rd consecutive night game for Tech and their 4th overall this season, and their next game will be at night as well, back in Lane Stadium on Thursday against Georgia Tech. Hokies back in the ACC, looking for their 3rd win on the road in the ACC. You're ready for that matchup, Hokies and Tar Heels. For Mike Burnup, I'm Jon Laaser. This has been your GDP.